Good morning. This is the review of F4 circles. This is a short section. First thing that you need to know is that the equation for a general circle is x squared plus y squared equals r squared, where r is the radius. This is for a general circle where the center is at the origin 0, 0, and the radius is just r. So, for example, if I have an equation x squared plus y squared equals 36, then the center of the circle, it will be at the origin, and the radius will be the square root of 36. We take the principal root here. The radius cannot be negative, and so therefore the radius is 6. Graph this circle is easy enough. Y-axis, x-axis, you go out 6 in every direction. Yes, this would be 6. And then your circle surrounds, oh, not drawn scale. That right here is your equation of your circle. Now, if you want to make things more interesting, and we don't want to have the center at the origin, what changes are made to your x and y variables. So an off-centered circle, so a circle with center two random numbers, we call them h and k, and radius r, is given by this formula right here that you have to memorize. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Again, note here that the equation looks almost exactly the same. The only difference is the introduction of the change to the new center, the h and k. So, for example, if I want to find the equation of a circle, so example, give the equation of a circle with center 5, -2 and radius 12. The answer would simply be to plug the 5 and the 2 into the equation and square 12. And so we would get x minus 5 square. One of the things that I like to remember is that the x values stay with the x's and the y values plus, and this time right here we will have y minus -2. The y values stay with the y values, and of course this right here is going to be, oh, don't forget that square is equals to 12 squared. Obviously a negative and a negative is a positive, and so this equation simplifies to x minus 5 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 144. This is the equation of a circle with radius 12 and center 5, -2. Now, the other way they like to ask these questions right here is to work backwards. And so what they will do is they'll give you an equation and ask for the center and radius. again, this is pretty straightforward. Lots of fun, I believe. Hopefully. So, find the center and radius of a circle with equation and my equation right here is x plus 5 squared plus y minus 2 squared is equals to 12. So first things first, the center CENTER is going to be negative 5 comma 2. Now you might be thinking, well, I see a plus 5 here and a negative 2 here. What happened? Well, if you look at the equation very carefully, you'll notice that we're using the opposite of h and the opposite of k. So if you're taking the opposite of something, when you plug it in, the sign will change. Again, if you look right here, notice right here I have a 5 in my final equation down here. In my final equation down here, I end up with a negative 5. And so a helpful tip is to remember that the signs always change. So x plus 5 squared means my center is at negative 5 comma 2. And of course my radius will be equals to the square root of 12. You cannot leave, you have to always simplify. And in this case right here, my radical can be simplified. And so to simplify a radical, all you have to remember is you have to find two numbers that multiply to give you 12, where one of them is a perfect square. Now numbers that multiply to give us 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and I think that's all the pairs. The remaining ones are just backwards, 4 and 3, 6 and 2, and 1 and 12. Well, it so happens that only these pair right here are the ones that have a number that's a perfect square. So all we simply do is we take the number 12 and we say, well, 12 is 4 times 3, but I am taking the square root of 12, and so that means I gotta take the square root of 4 and the square root of 3. Well, what's the square root of 4? 2, and I cannot simplify radical 3. And so the answer, therefore, is 2 radical 3. Thank you.